Welcome back to Celestial Scrolls, where we bring ancient Chinese myths and legends to life. Today, we continue our epic journey through one of China's greatest literary masterpieces, Journey to the West. In Episode 20, The Western Lake's Hidden Trials, we follow our pilgrims after their dramatic encounter at the Enchanted Grove of the Monkey King. Having freed his monkey subjects from centuries of imprisonment, Sun Wukong must race to rejoin Tang Sanzang and the others at the beautiful but treacherous Western Lake. What appears to be a serene resting place quickly reveals itself as an elaborate trap set by three vengeful demons from Wukong's past. As a magnificent underwater palace rises from the depths, our heroes must rely on the great sage's cunning and their combined strength to overcome this latest trial on their path to enlightenment. This episode showcases everything we love about Journey to the West: magical battles, clever deceptions, and the unbreakable bond between our four pilgrims as they face the countless challenges on their sacred quest. If you're enjoying these legendary tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to join us for the next exciting chapter in this immortal adventure. Now let's dive into the hidden dangers of the Western Lake. 3 days had passed since Sun Wukong departed with his liberated monkey subjects. Tang Sanzang, Zhu Bajie, and Sha Wujing continued their westward journey, the memory of the Enchanted Grove still fresh in their minds. The absence of their eldest disciple was noticeable in the quiet that had settled over their small band. "I miss the great sage's chatter," Bajie admitted as they crested a hill overlooking a vast expanse of water that shimmered in the afternoon sun, though I'd never tell him so to his face. "The Western Lake," Tang Sanzang announced, recognizing the landmark from his maps. "This is where we are to reunite with Wukong." The lake spread before them like a mirror of polished jade, its surface occasionally rippling with the movement of fish, or the gentle touch of the breeze. Along its shores grew drooping willows and flowering water plants, while distant mountains formed a majestic backdrop against the clear blue sky. "It appears peaceful enough," Sha Wujing observed, his river spirit senses alert for any hidden dangers. But appearances can be deceiving, as we learned at the Enchanted Grove. They made their way down to the shore, where a small pavilion stood among a cluster of willows. The structure appeared well maintained, with freshly swept steps and lanterns hanging unlit from its eaves. "A welcome sight for wearied travelers," Tang Sanzang said, dismounting from his white horse. "We shall make camp here and await Wukong's return." As Bajie and Sha Wujing began unpacking their provisions, Tang Sanzang approached the pavilion. Inside, he found a stone table with 4 stone benches arranged around it. At the center of the table sat a ceramic teapot with 4 cups, all covered in a fine layer of dust. "Someone prepared for visitors but has not been here for some time," the monk observed, running his finger along the table's surface. Sha Wujing appeared at his side, carrying their cooking pot. "Master, there is a well behind the pavilion with clear water. I shall prepare our evening meal." As the sand monk departed to draw water, Bajie entered the pavilion and immediately flopped onto one of the stone benches with a contented sigh. 3 days of peace without the monkey's insults," he chuckled. "I should enjoy it while it lasts." Tang Sanzang sat in meditation, his expression serene yet thoughtful. I wonder how our eldest disciple fares with the restoration of his kingdom. Meanwhile, far to the east, at the mountain of flowers and fruit, Sun Wukong stood atop the highest peak, surveying the restored kingdom of the monkeys. The mountain had indeed remained unoccupied during their absence, though nature had reclaimed many of the structures they had once built. His subjects were quickly settling back into their ancestral home, led by the 6 generals who had maintained order and hope during their long imprisonment. Young monkeys explored the caves and streams with excited whoops, while older ones gathered fruits and renovated living spaces. Great Sage! Silver Fur, the eldest general, approached with a bow. Your kingdom is secure once more. The sentries are posted, and the sacred peach grove has been tended. Wukong nodded, pleased with their progress. You have served well through centuries of hardship. I name you regent in my absence to rule justly until my pilgrimage to the west is complete. The silver-furred monkey prostrated himself in gratitude. We shall maintain your kingdom and await your triumphant return. Wukong plucked one of his hairs and blew upon it, creating a duplicate of himself. This double will remain here to assist with any extraordinary threats. Though it holds but a fraction of my power, it can summon me should true danger arise. With affairs settled, Wukong prepared for his departure. He spun his cloud into being beneath his feet, and with a farewell salute to his subjects, soared westward toward the rendezvous at Western Lake. As he traveled, his keen eyes noticed something unusual in the air currents ahead. Wisps of colored smoke, purple, yellow, and green, swirled in unnatural patterns high above the landscape. These vapors seemed to converge in the direction of the Western Lake. He murmured to himself, speeding his cloud. Those are not natural formations. I sense demonic energy at work. Back at the Western Lake, as dusk approached, Tang Sanzang and his disciples finished their simple meal. The evening was unusually still, with not even the chirping of insects to break the silence. It's too quiet, Xiao Jing said, rising to his feet. No bird song, no frogs calling from the water's edge. Baji, who had been dozing, sat up with a snort. Perhaps they're just being respectful of our presence. No, Tang Sanzang said softly. Wu Jing is right. There is an unnatural silence here. As if summoned by their wariness, the surface of the lake began to bubble near the center. The water churned, forming a whirlpool that grew larger with each passing moment. From its depths rose a magnificent structure, a palace of coral and pearl that gleamed in the fading light. By all the heavens, Baji gasped, fumbling for his rake weapon. What manner of sorcery is this? The palace continued to rise until it stood fully revealed atop the lake's surface, connected to the shore by a bridge that materialized from water droplets solidifying into crystal. Lanterns along the bridge ignited with blue flame, illuminating the path to the palace gates. Tang Sanzang observed this spectacle with cautious wonder. I have read of the dragon kingdoms beneath certain lakes, but never expected to encounter one on our journey. A figure appeared at the far end of the bridge, a woman dressed in robes that flowed like water, her hair adorned with pearl ornaments that caught the light of the blue flames. She walked with deliberate grace toward them. "Honored pilgrims," she called, her voice carrying across the water, with unusual clarity. "The Dragon Princess of Western Lake welcomes you. My father, the Dragon King, requests the pleasure of your company at tonight's banquet." Sha Wujing moved protectively closer to Tang Sanzang. "Master, we should wait for the great sage's return before accepting such an invitation." "Agreed," Baji added, uncharacteristically serious. "Dragon kingdoms can be perilous, even for legitimate guests." Tang Sanzang considered their counsel. "Your caution is warranted, disciples, yet to refuse outright may cause offense where none was intended." He addressed the approaching princess. "Gracious lady, we are humbled by your hospitality. However, we await the return of our companion. Might we defer our visit until he joins us?" The dragon princess's smile faltered slightly. "The banquet is prepared in your honor, holy monk. The hour is auspicious and cannot be changed. Your companion will be welcomed when he arrives. Our sentries will direct him to the palace." Before Tang Sanzang could respond further, a familiar voice called from above, "Make no promises, master." This is no honest invitation. All eyes turned skyward to see Sun Wukong descending on his cloud, his golden-tipped staff already extended to its fighting length. He landed between Tang Sanzang and the princess, his posture defiant. "Monkey!" Baji exclaimed with relief that he quickly masked with his usual tone. "Took you long enough to return from your family reunion." Wukong ignored him, focusing instead on the dragon princess. "I observed 3 streams of demon smoke converging on this lake. What game are you playing, false princess?" The woman's elegant features contorted with anger. The great sage sees too much. Her form shimmered, revealing glimpses of scales beneath her human appearance. "But you are too late. The trap is already sprung." The crystal bridge suddenly extended, shooting forward to encircle Tang Sanzang and his disciples. The seemingly solid path revealed itself to be a water dragon, its elongated body forming a living cage around them. "Master!" Wukong shouted, leaping to strike at the water dragon with his staff. But as the weapon connected, it passed through the creature's fluid body without effect. The dragon princess laughed, the sound like ice cracking. "Your famous weapon cannot harm what has no solid form, Monkey King. Now you will all be guests of my father, whether willing or not." The water dragon tightened its coils, drawing Tang Sanzang and his disciples inexorably toward the palace. Wukong attempted to fly over the barrier, only to be repelled by an invisible force that crackled with lightning upon contact. "A celestial binding spell," he growled, recognizing the magic. "This is no ordinary dragon kingdom." As they were pulled across the bridge, Tang Sanzang maintained his composure, though concern showed in his eyes. "Great sage, what do you sense about this place?" Wukong's gaze darted over the palace, taking in details invisible to ordinary sight. "The structure is real enough, master, but it doesn't belong to any dragon king I know. And those smoke trails I saw, they bore the signatures of 3 demons I encountered long ago." "Old enemies seeking revenge?" Sha Wujing asked, gripping his staff tightly. "Most likely," Wukong nodded. "They've created this elaborate illusion to lure us into their power." They passed through the palace gates, which closed with a resonant boom behind them. The water dragon released them into a vast hall, illuminated by countless pearls that glowed with inner light. At the far end sat 3 thrones upon a dais, currently empty. The dragon princess bowed mockingly. "My father and his brothers will join you shortly. Please enjoy the banquet prepared in your honor." She gestured, and tables laden with sumptuous foods and wines appeared throughout the hall. The aromas were enticing, the presentation flawless. "Touch nothing," Wukong warned. "Dragon food can bind mortals to underwater kingdoms for eternity, and this isn't even genuine dragon fare, but demon sustenance." Baji stared longingly at the feast, his stomach growling audibly. "Are you certain, elder brother? It looks harmless enough." Wukong struck the nearest table with his staff, and the illusion briefly wavered, revealing rotting vegetation and swamp water in place of the magnificent dishes. "Convinced now, pig?" he asked. Before Baji could respond, 3 figures entered the hall from a side chamber. They wore the ornate regalia of dragon kings, complete with scaled robes and coral crowns. But Wukong's discerning eyes saw through their disguises immediately. "The 3 smoke demons of Mount Catastrophe," he announced, pointing his staff accusingly. "Spider, scorpion, and centipede, I should have known you'd eventually crawl out from whatever hole you've been hiding in since I last defeated you." The 3 false dragon kings exchanged glances, then abandoned their disguises in a swirl of colored smoke, purple, yellow, and green. When the vapors cleared, their true forms stood revealed, 3 humanoid figures with insectoid features. One had multiple eyes and spindly limbs. Another possessed a segmented tail ending in a venomous stinger. And the third had countless legs visible beneath his robes. 500 years we've waited for revenge, Sun Wukong," hissed the spider demon, "ever since you disrupted our feast and destroyed our mountain palace." "You were devouring innocent travelers," Wukong retorted. "Did you expect me to ignore such behavior in my territory?" The centipede demon slithered forward. "We've prepared specially for you, great sage. This palace is constructed from the spiritual essence of Western Lake. Bound with celestial chains I stole from heaven's armory, even your boundless strength cannot break free." Tang Sanzang spoke with quiet authority. "What do you want from us, demons? We are but pilgrims on a sacred journey." The scorpion demon approached the monk, careful to stay beyond Wukong's reach. "From you, holy Tang Sanzang, we require only your cooperation. Your flesh, preserved in the waters of this lake for 1,000 years, will grant immortality to whoever consumes it." "The old scheme," Baji snorted. "Every demon from here to the western heaven wants a bite of my master." "As for the great sage and his fellow disciples," the spider demon continued, "you will witness the monk's preservation, then be imprisoned in 3 separate jade bottles, conscious but powerless for all eternity." Wukong twirled his staff casually, though his eyes burned with strategic calculation. Impressive planning. "But tell me, which of you 3 devised this elaborate trap? The spider's webs of deception? The scorpion's venomous schemes? Or the centipede's winding strategies?" The demons exchanged prideful glances, each eager to claim credit. "The palace was my creation," the centipede boasted, "designed to neutralize your specific powers." "The celestial binding spells were my contribution," the scorpion added. "Not even your Buddha-given freedom can overcome them." "And the illusion of the dragon kingdom was my masterpiece," the spider concluded. Perfect enough to fool even immortal eyes. Had you not seen our convergence? Wukong smiled, a dangerous glint in his eyes. Thank you for confirming what I suspected. Now I know exactly how to dismantle your trap. With blinding speed, he plucked 3 hairs from his head and blew upon them, transforming them into 3 golden needles that shot toward the demons with unerring accuracy. Each needle struck a different demon in a specific location. The spider in his central eye, the scorpion at the base of his stinger, and the centipede at the junction of his humanoid torso and insectoid lower body. The demons shrieked in unified agony as the needles disrupted the magical connections that maintained their elaborate trap. The palace around them trembled, its structure destabilizing. "Quickly!" Wukong shouted to his companions. "The spell weakens! Bajie, attack the north wall. Wu Jing, the eastern pillars." Understanding immediately, the disciples leaped into action. Bajie's rake smashed into the northern wall, revealing water rushing through the breach. Sha Wujing's staff shattered the eastern pillars, further destabilizing the structure. Wukong himself somersaulted to Tang Sanzang's side, expanding his staff to create a protective barrier around his master. "The palace falls, master. Hold tight to me." The 3 demons, still paralyzed by the golden needles, watched in horror as their creation collapsed around them. "Impossible!" the spider demon wailed. "The binding spells should have held." "Your mistake," Wukong explained with grim satisfaction, "was creating 3 separate components rather than a unified enchantment. One alone might have trapped me, but 3 competing magics, they weakened each other at the seams." The palace disintegrated completely, releasing them back into the cool evening air beside Western Lake. The water surged and bubbled as the magical structure sank beneath the surface, taking the 3 demons with it. Tang Sanzang, supported by Wukong's arm, gazed at the now placid lake with wondering eyes. "Will they return, great sage?" Wukong shook his head. "Not any time soon. My needles were empowered with a binding spell of my own, a little trick I learned from Tathagata Buddha himself. They'll be trapped in their own reflections at the bottom of this lake for at least a century." Bajie collapsed onto the shore, expelling a dramatic sigh. "And here I thought we might enjoy a peaceful evening for once." "Peace is found within, not in external circumstances," Tang Sanzang reminded him gently. "Though I admit, a night without demonic interruptions would be a pleasant change." They returned to the pavilion by the shore, which had remained undisturbed throughout the ordeal. As they settled in for the night, with Sha Wujing preparing a simple meal to replace the illusory banquet they had rejected, Wukong recounted his successful restoration of the Monkey Kingdom. "Your subjects are secure once more on Flower Fruit Mountain." Tang Sanzang nodded with approval. "You have fulfilled that responsibility with honor, eldest disciple." "And returned just in time," Bajie added, unable to resist teasing. "Though I'm sure we could have handled those insect demons ourselves." Wukong chuckled, flicking Bajie's ear with his tail. "Perhaps, but then I would have missed seeing your terrified expression when the palace began to collapse." As night fully descended, bringing with it the returned sounds of frogs and crickets around the lake, Tang Sanzang gazed westward toward their ultimate destination. "Tomorrow, we continue our journey," he said. The western heaven still lies many trials ahead. Wukong followed his master's gaze, his golden eyes reflecting the emerging stars. And we will face them together, Master, as we always have. In the quiet pavilion by Western Lake, the four pilgrims rested, their bond strengthened by yet another ordeal overcome. The white horse nibbled contentedly at lakeside grasses, while overhead the moon cast its serene light upon the path that would lead them step by step toward enlightenment. The journey to the west continued, each challenge bringing them closer not only to their sacred destination, but to a deeper understanding of themselves and the complex interplay of illusion and reality that defined the very world through which they traveled. And that's the end of episode 20. Our pilgrims have escaped the treacherous underwater palace and thwarted the three smoke demons. But their journey to the western heaven continues with countless trials still ahead. What new challenges await Tang Sanzang and his disciples as they press westward? Will the demons trapped beneath Western Lake find a way to break free and seek revenge? And what other enemies from Wukong's past might resurface to threaten their sacred mission? We'll answer these questions and more in episode 21, coming soon to Celestial Scrolls. If you enjoyed this tale of magic, deception, and triumph, please hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this legendary journey. Here at Celestial Scrolls, we're committed to bringing these timeless stories to life just for you. Thank you for joining us on this adventure through ancient Chinese mythology. Until next time, may your path be as enlightening as our pilgrim's journey to the West.